This video is about the food, religion, and guilt. So many people in the world have got different ideas about the food because as they're growing up, their parents will serve them the food which they've been always eating. And regarding the food, there is a full reasoning as to why a particular food is being eaten or not, whether it is non-vegetarian or it is a vegetarian. It is very difficult. The people who eat meat, they do not question much about the food because right from the beginning they have been eating whatever is given to them. But the ones who are vegetarians, there is a lot of guilt involved if there is a serving of non-vegetarian food. I have known the families who have been there. For example, the father was eating the non-veg food, and the mother was not eating. So what she has propagated is she has told her children not to eat, and therefore there is a reasoning for it, and the religion is one of the reasons that reasoning is given to the child that eating this food is wrong according to the religion, because killing of anything is not permitted in the religion. Therefore one has to have a vegetarian food. But in here I want to give you little information regarding how this whole survival of people of anything is existing on the earth. And why I say that, because firstly, we are carbon bodies. Everything on this earth is associated with carbon. We eat carbon and we also take oxygen, and then we give carbon dioxide out after using it. And there is a full survival cycle, when we are, when we're eating, then it is dependent upon other things as to what we're going to eat. Because important thing here is the food chain is the most important thing. And food chain in principle is saying to you, whoever is surviving on this earth is a food for another existing things. I mean, example I give to you. Let's say I go into a jungle, and there is lion there. And lion is not going to eat grass no matter how high it is. And you will find the videos. Lion is hiding in the grass while waiting for the prey, whatever animal, wait for that animal. And similar is the situation with everything else. Because the aspect there is that the grazing animals are mostly with the hooves, khur. In the Indian language it is khur, and they have hooves. And the ones who are animals which are meat eater have got claws or hands, So there is a little bit of a overlapping as well. I mean, there are very few who will not be in the same rule category, but that is principally, that is where it is. So dependence of the food many times is upon the nature, how the creation has created the different beings in here. Human being has got choice, and they got hands, they've got the claws. So principally they were the claws, which has obviously thumbs coming there, has created the human being to be able to do much more things than most other animals. So eating is, at the end of the day, your choice, but the important thing here is not to feel guilty of what you're eating. The reason I am making this video is people should not feel guilty about what they eat. And the reasoning for that is because everything is dependent upon each other for survival. So if, for example, the grazing elements, if they think that they can't eat the grass or other big animals, like elephants and giraffes and all these things, they eat the leaves and things like that. Then how will, if they say that we are not going to eat that, therefore they will go hungry. And if the grazing the animals are going to not eat the grass, they're going to go hungry. And on the other hand, for example, lion can't eat grass. Therefore, what is he going to do? He is going to catch one of the animal and eat them. So that becomes a cycle of the whole thing, And regarding the guilt factor, one should not feel guilty as long as your intentions are right. If, for example, any animal is slaughtered for the food, one should understand it is the reasoning for killing that animal was principally for food. I'm definitely very much against any animals being even kicked. Should not be done. No reason for it. Don't kick any animal. It's a dog or cat or anything. Obviously you can't kick a lion. He'll sort you out. But at the same time, no animal should be treated in a bad way. No animal. But when it comes to food, I would say go for an animal which has lived its life, which means it has lived for, like, say, 80% of the life or 90% of the life, and it is on the verge of, dying. If you're eating them, then even if you think it is a sin to eat, which in few minutes I'm going to tell you that it's not a sin to eat also, but if it is a sin to eat, at least the animal has lived most of its life and it's already there. It's like if an old person dies at the age of 80, and you obviously feel bad, the person has died. But equally, if a child dies, at the age of 7, 5, 8, 2 months or a year, it is a different ball game altogether, because the hurt is much more, because that child had a full life to live and then he died, then it's a different thing, as an old person. So this is the same analogy. I'm trying to create the analogy between the things. Now I come to the vegetarian side of it, which is a confusion for everybody. I mean, there are things people will talk about, sattvic food and different varieties of things. Certain religious aspects are there. Vegetarian food is excellent. There is no doubt about it. I do not propagate that people should eat non-veg food all the time. No, people should really mix the food up. But the most important aspect here is not to feel guilty about it. Now, from the guilty point of view, information I want to give you is all dals, any lentils, all of them are the seeds of those plants they have come from. We enjoy eating peanuts. What is peanuts? Or any nuts? They are the seeds of that particular tree or a plant. So seeds, it is equivalent to having to eat eggs. Some people say, oh no, eggs, we don't want to eat because the hen has given the egg, therefore it is going to be a hen tomorrow. But we eat the egg, therefore, we finish that life. Exactly the same principle is when you are eating the lentils, even wheat. Wheat is a seed. And when you put it in the soil and water it for a few days, it will come out to give you more seeds. So what I'm trying to say to you is whatever you're eating is all seeds, basically. And seeds are the eggs of those particular things. And interestingly, human beings have now reached the technologies where they can save the eggs of the mother, or even a fertilized egg of the mother they can save, and they can bring that to life after 20 years. They've done that, maybe even 30 years. But the intelligence, if you see, is that the human beings, if they have to save the eggs, they have to put it in a cold environment, which is in minus 200, minus 300 degrees centigrade, so that it doesn't disintegrate. But on the other hand, the intelligent side of the seeds of any of any of the vegetarian side of it, which means the peanuts, the seeds of the trees, seeds of the plants where you're growing from, and all these seeds, once you dry them, you keep them in a good dry atmosphere, you will find that they are usable even after a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, even beyond that atmosphere. In fact, in Norway, there is a place where they store the seeds of various crops, which, if the reason for doing that is that should there be a disaster on the earth and everything is wiped out, that area will still remain, and one should be able to restart the whole of the civilization with the food and all that. So what I'm trying to say to you is, when you're eating any of the seeds, you are, if you want to go into the guilty train, then you should think like that also. On the other hand, you should feel guilty. Why you're destroying the seeds of something? What do we do? For example, if we have a mango, we enjoy the mango first class, no problem at all. We enjoyed that. The pulp is all eaten, right? What is thrown is the seed of the mango. And most people will know that if you put that seed into the soil, it will create another plant, another tree of the mango. And I have done it with my own hands. I mean, they are like my children to me, because I took a seed, took them out, put it in the water and give them environment so that it sprouts out, and then I put it in the soil. And I've done with avocado, I've done with the other things, And therefore, so what I'm trying to say to you is, the guilt should not arise because you are killing some life. There is a reason for it. And also, it is your duty. It is your duty to maintain your health. And therefore, whatever you need to eat to maintain that health, you should do that. Put the religion, the guilt, and everything on one side. Serve your body. And serve other people's body, obviously. Try to help the people who need help. Even with food, serve them with whatever way you can. So what I'm trying to say to you is, when you're eating something, of course, in Christianity, people, sit down on the table and pray before they eat. In Islam, they have halal concepts, and they say, the food has to be halal. It's principally the same thing, saying to the God, that I'm eating this animal, and so it is for forgiveness in a way. But they may not agree with my interpretation, but according to me, that is the interpretation. And even among Hindus, they tend to pray also before they eat, many of them, not all of them. So gradually these things go away. But then if this thing in your heart already, that you're going to help the people and you're going to feed and all these things, these then, these things, daily, praying and all these things, people are not doing, but that's fine. That is not a problem. But the important point here is, the important message is, do not feel guilty of eating food. Feel guilty if you have kicked a dog. Feel guilty if you are hitting any animals. Do not go onto some place and destroy the crop. They're all. I am totally against cutting any tree. Totally against. In my lifetime, I don't think I've been associated with killing the tree, because I remember there was one of the tree had to be cut in my neighborhood. It was a big mature tree, and it was cut, and the sap was coming for 3 months out of that, until it started to sprout again, and the tree started to bring its branches out to survive again. And the tree has got the maximum, the longest life on this planet. So how can one think of cutting the trees? Don't cut the trees. Sometimes it has to be cut, but then if you cut one, then plant 3, 5, something of that order, so that you have an environment, better environment. So the purpose is, do not do the things which are going to be the harmful to the environment, and yet maintain your body. And equally, what do? Do you feel guilty when you have to take a medicine? You got a bacteria in your body, and you have to kill the bacteria. So you go to the doctor prescribes you a medicine, you go and have that medicine, and after 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, you're recovering and you're fully recovered. If you didn't take that medicine, didn't go to the doctor, you're gone, you're finished. So don't feel guilty. I mean, you have to kill a mosquito. You have to kill a mosquito because it is going to either give you something, even if it hasn't got malaria or dengue or any other problem. In Africa there are yellow fever and so many other things. So what you got to do? You got to kill that. So you can't pray in front of it. Similarly, other animals, the ones which are harmful, which we call rodents, or the categories that are harmful to the human beings, you got to kill them and don't feel guilty about it. You can't. Look the whole life on the earth into a wider perspective, much wider perspective, so that you can then make the good decisions for your own selves. And the most important decision for yourself is, do not feel guilty. Do good things in life and do not bring guilt into any of your actions. Once you start getting a habit of feeling guilty, you will find guilt in so many things. Find the guilt in when you're doing the wrong things in life. If you're hurting somebody, if you said the wrong thing to somebody, that is the time to feel guilty. And that is, I'm going to make one video for introspection, which will mean you got to look inside your own selves to find out what are your own faults and try to rectify them and become a better human being. So God bless all. I hope you like the video, and please subscribe so that I get the motivation more of imparting my knowledge, what I think. Things you may agree with me or may not agree with me, that's up to you. By all means, send me the comments. Some of the comments are going to be harsh, I'm sure, but even then I request the people who make the harsh comment to still give it a thought about what I'm trying to say, how the whole of the earth's ecosystem is running. Give it a thought about it, and you may come to the different conclusions. But it's up to you. Eat whatever you like, but don't feel guilty. Thank you very much for today. Bye.